y'all, this is Stephanie L. Today I'm going to show you how to use your design paper to make a really cute bag. This design only requires one piece of 12 by 12 paper, so if you have any that you really want to use, this would be a great project. While you're here, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to get tutorials for future creations that you can do yourself. I normally make cards on this channel or, make things out of paper, so if that's what you're into, go ahead and hit that bell. Now, this bag would be perfect for your small gifts like gift cards, lip balms, perfumes. You could even use this for big little gifts like car keys or ring boxes. The paper I'm using comes from the Fireside paper pad from Michaels. This was a hot buy from them at the time, which I love because those hot buys really were the best. I'm not sure that Michaels has too many of these anymore because it seems like their paper craft section has totally died down for vinyl crafts, which, it is what it is. But if you want to see a full flip through, you can click the link above or you can click the link in the description. I have done a flip through of this paper pad before. So here we are. Start with the design side facing you and score the paper at 1 inch, 5 inches, and cut at 6.75 inches. Okay, y'all, so while we're here and while I have your attention, answer me this question. Where are you getting all your products from or all your crafty products from? Because for me, I, I'm not really an online shopper. I'm learning to become an online shopper, but it's not my first place to be. So normally I get it from Michaels. I've learned to go to Joann's because we have a couple in my area, but that's not always the case. I'm just wondering, if you're not getting these big hauls in person in different places, where are you going? Overall, your paper should be roughly 11.5 by 6.75 inches by the time that you're done with it. Turn the paper 90 degrees clockwise and then score the paper at 4 inches, 5.75 inches, 9.75 inches, and 11.5 inches. That last half inch is going to be a little tab to glue and connect your box with, so don't cut that whole thing away. We're going to wind up just cutting some pieces away so that you can have that tab for gluing. Next, we're going to cut at those bottom score lines. This should be the sections that measure about 1 inch and 75 inches from the short length. You can cut those notches like I am here just to make them a little bit easier to fold into themselves a little bit later. A quick tip for just any paper crafting project that you ever have. When it comes to cutting different things, something that always gets in the way is just a little bit of excess paper. You would like to think that if you measure everything precisely, then everything should come out exactly right. And sometimes that is true, but in practicality, it always helps to cut off just a little bit extra paper when it comes to these notches. It helps fold a lot better. Trust me. Now that everything is cut, let's fold everything down. We're not doing anything permanent right now, just training the paper to its final form. The part I'm folding down is the first top lip where the handles are going to be. If you're working with a shorter piece of paper, then you don't have to have this lip. It just shores up the handles and makes the bag feel a little bit more sturdy. Don't forget to fold the vertical lines. You can see the shape of the bag start to reveal itself. Next, we're going to stick everything down with glue. For this project, I'm using liquid glue. Liquid glue generally makes a stronger bond than dry glues like glue sticks. The best tape would probably be adhesive tape, but I like this better for this tight section. And honestly, for craft projects, I'm not sure that there are a lot of differences in the tack factor of liquid glue or tape adhesive. Now, when it comes to this top edge, I just want to reiterate, this part is not necessary. For example, if you didn't have a piece of paper that was 6 inches tall, then you really could do this with something that was just 5 inches tall. The only reason I did this because it shores up the handle so that once you put whatever it is that you're going to put in the bag, that little bit of extra paper stiffens the top so that once the handles pull on that piece of paper, it won't tear and break as easily. And and that's why I'm folding it back and gluing it down, like you see here. Again, this part is not necessary, but even if you look at all the handbags when you go into the store, all of those have those folded handles up top, and it really does it well. They have all the folded paper at the top because it really does help stiffen the paper and give it a little bit more security so that those handles don't rip off so easily. So know your project. If you're not going to put anything super duper heavy in there, then just don't fold it over. For any paper crafting project, I kind of look at these videos as like basic instructions just to get the basic form of whatever it is. But I try to make sure that you have enough information so that you can change things up however you want to. Like you'd be able to size this bag up or down any way you like to, depending on how large or how small your piece of paper is. Or say you don't mind using more than one piece of paper. If you wanted to use if you have a paper pad that you're just trying to go ahead and use all of it, you very well could use 2 or 3 pieces of paper to make a gift bag. Honestly, I'm thinking the biggest one you could probably make is the 12 by 12, depending on different factors like how big you actually want your bag to be, how are you going to make your sides, how are you going to shore up everything to make sure that it doesn't fall apart, because relying just on glue could be a little bit much. But is your prerogative. I give you the basic instructions so that you can do whatever it is that you want to. And honestly, as a person who likes to re-gift gift bags, like I have a whole barrel of gift bags that I always like try to go through to give people their gifts. Like having a bag like this that someone made out of like whatever paper that they had, I might keep that one a little bit longer. I don't know. What do you think? Next, glue the bottom. This is the weight bearing side, so you want to make sure this fully dries before you use it. To help it along, you can put something heavy in it until it dries. I think I let this sit on my desk for about 15 minutes before I came back to it. To be honest, it probably didn't need a whole 15 minutes to dry, but you can see my baby's hand. That was the 15 minutes right there. That was the craft. That was the crafty distraction. I think she wanted to help me with something else, or she wanted me to do something else with her. I forget what it was, but she came at the perfect time because I probably would have tried to craft her right through this without letting it dry or do anything. And it really does help if you let it dry because it's not all wiggly and it's not all loose trying to be formed into its final form, the final bag that I am making. Now it's time for the handles. I just happen to have the We Are Makers bookbinding tool, so I use the awl from there to poke a hole. However, if you don't have that, just keep it simple and use a small punch. A hole puncher or anything that'll allow you to poke a hole through the paper to get the handles through. It's not that serious. I just happen to have this on my desk. I'm poking this in about 1/2 inch from the top of the folded edge, and I'm eyeballing the 2 holes to be about 1 inch apart from each other. Again, this is all to your preference, to your liking. So if you want to do something a little bit closer together, a little bit further apart, it's all on you. Do what makes you happy. As you're doing this, make sure that you don't poke yourself. Like you can see right here that my finger is actually above and below where the hole on the other side is going to be. I don't want to get poked. I don't want that needle in my finger. And now that I'm thinking about it, other things that you could use to make this hole is, like I said, it's probably better if you use a hole punch. Uh, get some different kind of string, like different from this. This was really thin, but I liked it though. Now the string that I'm using for the handles is a stretchy string on my desk from wrapping gifts for Christmas. Feel free to just use twine, jute, or even curling ribbon. Make the handles as long as you wish and tie them off on the inside. One good thing to remember when I did these handles, the part that I folded down was still a little bit wet. I think that kind of helped. I'm thinking that if it had been completely 100% dry, it might not have been as easy to poke a hole through the top flaps. So that's something that you might want to consider when you're doing this. Also,
Even though I already poked through this hole once, it helped to poke through the opposite direction. Sometimes when you poke paper one direction, you have that little bit of paper that still comes out, and it'll be hard to push anything through that little hole, especially with the hole so small, which is why I'm using the awl again to push this string through. Just use whatever you have on hand on your desk to kind of make it work, and make sure that you can work your handles through the paper, and make sure that you can get the string through the paper however you need to. Something else that you might want to do is you might want to burn the ends of this just so that it doesn't fray. That's not something that I show on camera. All I did was not my ends, but after that it probably would be helpful to kind of burn them and melt them a little bit. That's something that you just might want to consider for yourself when you do this.
My handles are a little long, so feel free to shorten yours also to your liking. Um, and you can see in the video, I also made a belly band for my bag using paper from the same pad, but I made my dimensions exact, and I didn't add like an eighth of an inch for snug. I could have put it on it if I scored the middle side so that they folded it in a bit, or if I would have undone it and just added that eighth of an inch on the long sides of the belly band, but I didn't. I just decided not to use the belly band this go around. And with that last touch, we're done. Thank you for pressing play on this video. If you like what you saw or found it helpful, give me a like and a subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell to get notifications for the next video. Bye, y'all.